Polyamory is more natural for actually everybody, because people are more attracted to just more than one partner. But monogamy is more functional, and it can get really complex because you have so many options. You can feel really pressured to stay in it because people are saying, oh, like, it's low vibrational to be monogamous, but I'm not somebody that's just like having one night stands. A lot of times in polyamory, you do see like sex parties and all these types of orgies and stuff. That was not my lane of polyamory.
Yeah, stuff like a Diddy party.
No Diddy, no Diddy.
In the red.
I feel great in the red. Honestly, I heard that men like red, and I'm testing the theory on accident. My friend told me that actually, and now I'm doing it.
Yeah, no, that's
apparently
definitely
it's a thing.
When a woman's in red, it's like, dang.
A woman in red. Here we are.
That's a whole. We'll make a whole video about that.
And it's a Saturn day, so we got to wear red on a Saturn day. Grounding, powerful, all that.
So one thing I want to ask you is, you have practiced polyamory.
Yeah.
And that's how you say it.
Polyamory.
Yeah. So polyamory. What were some of the things that you learned about polyamory? And how do you feel about it first? Let me ask you this.
First of all, I tried it for like 2.5 years because the reason why I wanted to get into it was really for myself. Like, it was a self-exploration journey. I wanted to see if there were parts of me that were still over possessive or egoic or jealous. Like, those parts of myself I wanted to face and overcome and completely clear. So that was really my personal reason. I also had a lot of monogamous relationships in the past where my exes had maybe felt like I was flirty, or they would get like jealous, or they would get insecure. So I was like, maybe monogamy isn't for me, maybe, because I wasn't finding partners that were really secure. And so I tried polyamory.
Yeah.
And honestly, after 2.5 years, I'm back on monogamy now. Like, I'm actually more traditional than I ever thought I would be after exploring it. But I do feel good about the fact that I actually did overcome any parts of myself that were overly possessive or jealous or any kind of egoic energy. So I completed my mission, but I also learned so much. So
would you say, like, when you practice polyamory, what was like how did it feel talking to multiple men at the same time and having multiple partners? What was the feeling?
I mean, I felt like a G.
You feel like a G?
I felt like a G, but honestly, it was cool. It was like something about me and that experience, I felt very comfortable. Like, I felt very good and your
men, the men have multiple partners too.
Yeah, so when I first started polyamory, I was just like, I'm just gonna date and be very transparent. Essentially for me, it was like, I'm gonna be single and just be transparent with everybody that I'm talking to, right?
Okay.
And then see where that goes. And so, I had been talking to 3 to 5 guys at a time, like how most women or men have a roster. Like, I had a roster, but I was like, I was transparent with them. I was like, hey, I'm also dating other people. Like, this is what it is. I'm going to explore polyamory, so if I do decide to get into a relationship with you or other people, like, I might be in multiple relationships at one time, like that's just kind of what I want to explore. And they were okay with it, you know, they were okay with it. Some of them weren't polyamorous, and some of them were. So I ended up attracting both, and that was kind of interesting too.
Okay, so the guys that were okay with it, did they look at you like a friends with benefits, or did they actually like the way you serious with you?
The ones that were, it kind of was different for everybody. Like, I had one guy that was a really close friend of mine who we were like friends with benefits type, but then he would also like come out and hang out when I was with my partners, and like it would be like a group, like not just my partners, but also like friends that we had mutually too.
Did they know?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So like if I was like, so I'm a musician, I do music, and so I would have like a show in downtown Phoenix, and so 2 of the people I was in partnership with or connecting with would be there, and then we would all go out as a group, and then some mutual friends, we'd all go out as a group, and it was fine, and it would be just like a dance. It's like sometimes I'm affectionate with one person, sometimes I'm affectionate with another person, or I would go on dates with one guy, and then like a couple days later I'd go on dates with my other partner. Like, I've been in a couple throuples, so like it just kind of depends.
Explain what a throuple is.
A throuple is when 3 polyamorous people, or 3 people in general, they don't even necessarily have to be polyamorous outside of that container, get together and they're a couple. So instead of a couple, they're a throuple. So I had been dating somebody who is also polyamorous, and he knew one of my friends from way back in the day, and I didn't know that they knew each other, and she happened to be more queer than heterosexual. But she, I guess, had always had a crush on me, and she'd always had a crush on him. So when him and I were dating, she was kind of flirting with both of us. And then I was like, I never looked at her that way, but then I was like, actually, this is kind of cool. Like, let's give it a shot. And so we ended up being in a throuple.
Wow. Yeah. And how would you say you recommend a throuple?
It's a lot of work. That's the one thing about polyamory in general, especially as a conscious person, is like you have to communicate all the time, and you are communicating all the time. You're communicating each other's boundaries, you're communicating each other's expectations or desires, you're juggling everybody's emotions, you're juggling everybody's circumstances. Like, I would go on a date with one of my partners, and then our girlfriend would have like a crisis, and we'd have to like stop our date and go like help her, you know.
A crisis.
That was a whole thing. That's why I ended up breaking up with her, and the throuple you know, fell apart. But you just learn a lot about everybody else, and like you have to deal with everybody else's shadows, you have to deal with everybody else's quirks, and you know, chemistries with each other and all of that. It's just a lot of energetic, emotional, mental work, and it can be really fun. But for me, I was just like, most of the people in polyamory aren't mature enough to handle all of that. And then the ones that are, it's like, I would find myself just wanting this to be us, because inviting other people that weren't mature enough was just causing chaos.
So let me ask you this. There's a big saying that a woman naturally wants to be monogamous. Do you believe that?
I think to a degree, yes. I think because I think polyamory, one of my friends said this the best that I ever heard. Polyamory is more natural for actually everybody, but monogamy is more functional.
Okay.
Because I think that, you know, we look at the birds and the bees and all these other animals, a lot of them, they ain't in a couple like we know penguins do, and like a couple other animals, right? They stay with a partner for life. Most animals, most species enjoy each other, and they're really about procreation and one-on-one connection, and they're not monogamous, right? But I think with women and humans in general, we want to build something, and it can be very hard to build something when you have a lot of chaos or a lot of factors that may not always be harmonious. And so it tends to be easier to be in harmony with one other person and go towards a desired goal than making sure that three people are in harmony consistently enough to build. Now, if you find that, you're going to build probably quicker, and that's great. And I think that's what people kind of want to have happen in polyamory, and maybe sometimes their intention. But you don't recognize that the culture of polyamory is also not very stable oftentimes, because there's so many options. You can be you could be looking for, you could be a solo poly where it's just like, I'm pretty much acting single all the time. I'm not really trying to be in an actual relationship with anybody, but I'm relating with multiple people. Or you could be somebody who wants to be in a polygon, which is like multiple partners, and you're all like five people that are in a relationship together, and you don't go outside of that.
Polygon.
Right. There's all sorts of stuff in polyamory and it can get really complex because you have so many options.
I know you were telling me last time that sometimes you feel like it's a little messy.
Exactly. That's what makes it messy, is there's so many options. And it just becomes chaos, because then you're also dealing with people's emotions around all those options. So if I like somebody who's more solo poly, but I'm looking for a little bit more of a commitment, and I'm still okay with the openness, or I'm looking for an open relationship, that's going to create some friction, right? And maybe you try to make it work with that person, but then it doesn't, because you don't really have the same desires, right? So now your heart's getting involved, you're feeling all these different ways, you're seeing them with other people, and you're trying to be like that, you're trying to cater to what they are wanting. And so it's harder almost to find, just like it is hard to find in monogamy, like a match there. But then you're thinking about finding a match who also has all these other options, and there's no solidity. There's no certainty. There's no consistency. It could change at any moment. So, yeah, it's just a lot. And I don't knock anybody who does it, because I have seen it successful with some people.
Yeah.
Single, solo, poly, or in coupleship. But it just wasn't for me. I'm glad that I did it, because I learned so much about myself, and I got more clear on what I do want, and it did bring me back to more of my like traditional values.
Right.
And I'm really happy about that, because I know that I can still be with a partner in a monogamous relationship and not feel jealous if he's got a close friend that's a girl, or a coworker that he's spending time with, you know, after work, or doing meetings.
You don't mind if your man now does those things?
No, because I know how to trust someone, and
Yeah.
I know how to discern that, and I know how to have the conversations necessary to express my boundaries while also ensuring that they're getting what they need and living the way that they feel they need to live.
Yeah.
Now, I don't want a man, like my partner in a monogamous relationship, to have a romantic relationship with another woman or anybody.
Yeah.
But I understand, like, friendships, co-working relationships, you know, natural friendliness, like those kind of things that often get hyper criticized in monogamous containers are really just like part of human behavior, and we don't have to do all that. We don't have to get all assumptive that they're cheating or get paranoid or insecure. We just have a conversation and, hey, this is how I felt when that happened. This is what I prefer. Or just ask them, do you have an attraction to them? Like, how are you feeling? Those kind of conversations go a long way, and
Right.
they can prevent a lot of paranoia and a lot of disruptive relationships.
So you're saying, like, when a woman or your partner has a friend or somebody they know, you should ask them are they attracted to them?
I mean, if you feel like there's some kind of
Mhm.
energy, yeah, like,
what if you don't
you
know?
can
Like,
address
what
it.
if you just like know, like, oh, they're like, hey, I'm gonna, you know, be around this person, but I'm there, like, you know, so I just, you know, you don't really know what's going on.
I mean, I have guy friends, right?
Yeah.
So, like, if I have guy friends and I'm hanging out with I literally have guy friends who are like my brothers,
Yeah.
right? And my exes, when I was in monogamous relationships before I was poly, which I'm not poly anymore, but before I tried it out, I had exes that would feel really weird about me having guy friends. But, like, my guy friends have wives, and me and my guy friends go out for, like, a boys' night. Obviously, I'm a girl, but, like, we grew up
why
together.
Not why
So that I don't
why-
think there's anything wrong
why-
with that. Their wives were fine with it, but we have a good relationship. Their wives know what our relationship is, and they know they can ask me. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? They can talk to me.
So let me quick question. Not to cut you off. Why didn't your man go with them? Go with y'all? Like, when y'all went out, right? Why didn't the man come with y'all?
So me and my guy friends, we will literally just have like boys' night, where it's like we just go to a bar, we drink beers, or we have like drinks, and
Okay.
we just talk about life. And
Right.
we went through a lot together when we were younger.
Yeah.
Like, we went through addiction, we got clean together. Like, we have a lot of history together as friends, and we watched each other grow up. And so sometimes they like to get away from their family life and like their kids, and their wives watch the kids, and we go out. And so my boyfriends at the time, I wouldn't bring them to that, because it's just like, if I'm going out with my girls, or if he's going out with his guys, or you're going out with your high school buddies, it's like, this is a clique, and the relationship that y'all have that you're trying to catch up, like, you don't necessarily need your partner who doesn't get all those inside jokes or get all that history to be a part of it. They're going to feel left out. They're going to feel like they're lost. It's not going to flow. It's not going to be harmonious. Now, there would be plenty of times where the wives would come, and we'd have like a family
Yeah.
all grouped, and then of course my boyfriends at the time would come, right? It's just a time and a place for things. It's like, I wouldn't want to go to my partner's business meeting just because his business partner is a girl, or his person he's meeting is a woman. Like, that's business related. It's got its own theme, it's got its own energy. Like, I don't fit in that energy. Let them have their productive conversations that they need to have to get things done, or to catch up, or whatever they need to do. You should be able to trust your partner enough for that.
Yeah. That's a lot of growth.
And if you
right there.
don't, that's a red flag for you and for them.
So you're saying well, a lot of people now have trust issues.
Yeah.
And the thing is, it's like, it's almost natural now, but it's like, you know, even me, like, I've been in connections to where, like, you know, give me your password, give me these things. And it's like,
It's such a bad
it's
thing
toxic.
to do.
Yeah. Or like, as soon as we
Super
start
toxic.
talking, they already like, yo, like, who's that? Like, you know what I'm saying? It really be nothing going on, but
I think trust issues are often trusting yourself. Because if you are asking your partner for their password, or you're asking them if they're cheating on you because they, you know, are coming home late, you're not trusting your own judgment and choosing that partner. you're not trusting yourself and having the conversations necessary to state your boundaries and what you want from that partner, and making sure that that partner actually can align to what you want.
Do you feel like it's a form of guilt? Like maybe they are not loyal?
It could be. I mean, sometimes, you know, if you're a type of person who's attracted to other people, but you're in a monogamous relationship, it's very likely that you would assume your partner is doing what you would do in certain situations. So yeah, that could be it. It's not always it, but it's definitely a possibility.
Yeah,
you know?
People feeling guilty.
And that's the beauty that I did acknowledge in polyamory, is like everybody they let you be free. It's like, how do you want to live your life? And because I love you, I love your happiness. I want you to be happy because I love you. And if happiness to you means being with this person because you guys click on this thing, and being with that person because you guys click on this thing, and then being with me, then that's okay. I don't possess you. I don't own you. We're choosing to be here together.
Yeah.
And I think that's beautiful. I do. But I just think that the complexity of that lifestyle to me was not sustainable. And I'm such an empath, I'm an intuitive professionally, so I could feel my partner's emotions.
Whoa.
I could feel their energy when we were, you know, hooking up. Like I could feel
the partners.
Yeah, like I can, like when one of my partners would get like a new partner, I could feel their energy, and if they had a lot of emotional baggage, or if they weren't feeling all the way comfortable with the polyamory dynamic or with me, I could feel that. And it was just too much to try to transmute and process. I was like, it's too complicated. And then you think about like having kids. If you want to have kids and bring kids up in that environment, like how do you want to teach them how to respect themselves in those dynamics and set boundaries? And also like there's just so many things.
How did you, let me ask you this, how did you navigate socially? I know polyamory for a woman is very controversial.
Mm-hmm.
For when a man does polygamous, that already itself is controversial, you know what I'm saying? But men can get away with it just because it's, you know, men are more physical, right?
Yeah.
When women try to do it, it's a lot more controversial because women are more emotional. So how did you navigate socially, letting people know, even your parents or like maybe your friends? Like
that's a good question. Yeah, I mean, my family knows I'm the wild child, like the weird one. Like I'm the conscious woo-woo hippie spiritual girl, and my family's kind of more muggly. Like they're more like non-magical folk.
Yeah.
And so they kind of never know what to expect with me. And so when I tell them something that's a little bit maybe shocking, they are kind of used to it by now. But I know I had like conversations with my dad where I was just like, because he's very traditional, and I would just kind of be gentle with him, like, oh yeah, like he'd ask if I was dating anybody, and I'd be like, yeah, I'm dating like a couple people, you know, and he'd be like, oh, what does that mean? And I'm like, you know, this is it, like we date multiple people, and like we love each other, and we're not trying to be possessive. And he's like, wow, everything's very different nowadays with you guys, you know. Like he would be cool with it. Like my family doesn't judge me, you know. They might not understand, but they love me, you know. So that's also what polyamory is. It's like we don't judge, we listen, we don't judge, you know what I mean? Like but yeah, and so that's why I'm saying I don't knock polyamory. It's just something that I chose not to do.
What about as far as like, you know, just the STD rate? Did you guys like get tested a lot?
Oh yeah, you have those conversations. So that's another big part about polyamory. There's this book called The Ethical Slut. Yeah. And that book is like one of the books that I read that was like so liberating for me, and was like, because I don't find myself to be like a promiscuous person. I've always been a very relationship forward person. So yes, I'm a sexual person. Yes, I love sensuality, but I'm not somebody that's just like having one night stands. I've never been that type of person. I'm very discerning about who I connect with sexually, and I have those conversations. I'm very mature about it. So a lot of times in polyamory, you do see like sex parties and you know, all these types of orgies and stuff. That was not my lane of polyamory, but those kind of things are
stuff like a Diddy party.
No Diddy. No, but it's those kind of things, because that is involved in that culture. You got to have the conversations, like, when was the last time you were tested? Do you have anything? If you do have something, how do we navigate that? Like, you know, having those conversations is essential, and I do appreciate polyamory for that. Like, a lot of times it does force you into having conversations that you might not have as a monogamous person, because you just don't think it's that big of a deal, or you're not exposed to that much. So yeah.
Wow, that's crazy. Okay. So anything else you want to add on? We got about 19 minutes in. Anything else?
Yeah, I would just say, you know, if you are curious about polyamory, ask yourself why. You know, do the self-work to really see, are you trying to just be non-committal and escape commitment or escape relationships that could be really consistent and stable? Are you enjoying drama? Are you chasing freedom and lust? Are you in it for lust? Because that is a toxic energy. Lust is actually the lowest vibration on the spectrum of vibrations for emotions.
Wow.
And so
lust is lower than fear.
It's lower than fear and,
Really?
and anger. Yeah.
Why is it lower than fear and anger?
I think because it's driven by primal energy that doesn't have any consciousness. It's like you're just
like a dog.
Yeah. It's, yeah.
Basically, like a dog is basically a primal animal.
Right. So
it has no consciousness.
Yeah, and you can look at the spectrum of emotions
Yeah.
and the vibration of emotions, and you can confirm that. But
wow.
yeah, so really ask yourself, why are you doing it, right? And what are your boundaries in it? And what do you want to experience from it? And then give yourself the time to explore that if you feel called, and do your research. You know, read a book like The Ethical Slut, or read different books. There's so many books out there for that. And then also, don't be afraid to say no to it if it's not for you. You know, don't feel pressured to live that lifestyle. Sometimes when you're in the polyamory community, you can feel really pressured to stay in it because people are saying, oh, like, it's low vibrational to be monogamous because you're not signing up for like the oneness of all people and loving everyone. And it's like, no, that's bullshit. You have a right to say yes or no to whatever feels right to you.
But they really
Doesn't
was really pressuring you?
Not everybody, but some people in the community would be like, oh, you're not doing enough shadow work if you don't like this lifestyle. That just means that you're not able to emotionally handle other people's freedom and happiness, and you're, you know, being selfish, or you're whatever, jealous, or all these things. It's like, no, I just don't prefer it. Like, I just don't prefer it. Like, I'm not possessive over you. I'm not jealous. I just don't prefer this. It's too much energetic weight for me. It's too much energetic labor. I'm wanting something more simple and stable,
I think, like,
and to the point, and connected and committed. That feels good to me.
That's why
nothing wrong with that.
That's the benefit of monogamy. It's like, you know, I'm definitely more monogamous. You know, of course, you know, all men are just how physical, you know, they're visual, they like seeing good women.
And that's okay too. It's like, it's okay. Like, I've had monogamous relationships where I'm like, damn, that girl's fine. He'd be like, damn, that girl is fine. And then that's it. It doesn't mean like, oh, we got to go have sex with her now, or we got to go be in a relationship with now. Like, you can appreciate beauty without being polyamorous. You know what I mean? And you can love everyone without being polyamorous. But if that is your jam, if that's what feels most harmonious to you, then go for it.
I think in a world where there's so much stress going on, having simplicity
is key.
Is good long term. Now, of course, some people are gonna be like, "Nah, maybe polyamorous, polygamous for a long time."
Yeah.
And if you can handle the high stress that it comes with,
it's a lot of stress. It's a lot of energy.
Some people can, like, if you're a Gemini, or like, you know, I said you're a Gemini.
Yeah, I'm a double Gemini.
If you can have those, like, the mental speed for it. But if you're like someone who's more simple, like maybe a Pisces, or I don't know, like a Libra, or you just want like a more simple, like Taurus, like some simple more lifestyle, they always usually go to like monogamy.
Right.
So,
yeah, and I would just say, like my friend said, like polyamorous is more natural because people are more attracted to just more than one partner, but monogamy to me is more functional.
Yeah.
And so, you know, and maybe that's the opposite for you, who knows, but like, and I'm not here to, who cares, like whatever you want, but like just give yourself the time to think about why you're doing it, what you want from it, and then if you're not getting what you want from it and you feel like you've done the work to really learn yourself and accomplish the things internally to make you okay, then choose what feels best for you. You know what I mean? And for me, that was monogamy.
Okay. Ashe. I'm gonna wrap it up. Thank you. We'll get you back on this platform. Ashe.
Peace.
All right, peace.